Last Tuesday, my parents showed up at my office unannounced. Not my apartment. My office. The one with my name on the door. The one I built from nothing while they were busy pretending I didn't exist. My assistant, Chloe, buzzed me with that specific tone she uses when she's trying to warn me without saying anything aloud. Your parents are here. Your mother says it's urgent. I didn't even look up from my screen. Tell them I'm in back-to-backs all afternoon. I tried. She's already walking past me. The door opened before Chloe could stop her. My mother stepped in first. Chanel flats, designer handbag, that tight smile she wears when she's about to ask for something she knows she has no right to ask for. My father followed behind her, hands in his pockets, looking at the floor like he always does when my mother is handling the dirty work. Sweetheart, my mother said, like she hadn't called me a disappointment at my own engagement dinner 4 years ago. Like she hadn't stood in this building's lobby during the grand opening and told the receptionist she was just here to see if it was real. I closed my laptop. Slowly. Mom. Dad. I didn't stand up. What brings you here? My mother pulled an envelope from her bag. Already opened. A demand letter from their attorney. She slid it across my desk. We need $300,000 by Friday, she said. The lake house is going into foreclosure. You're the only one in the family with that kind of liquidity. I stared at the envelope. Didn't touch it. You're asking me for $300,000. We're telling you, my mother corrected, her voice still sweet. You owe us. We raised you. Paid for your piano lessons, your braces, your first car. Help us keep the property that's supposed to be your inheritance someday. My father finally looked up. It's a loan, Nora. We'll pay you back. We both knew that was a lie. My father has been about to close a deal for 15 years. The lake house hadn't been maintained since 2019. They'd already refinanced twice. I leaned back. You're asking me for money after you told the entire family I was dead to you for marrying someone you didn't approve of? My mother's smile flickered. That was years ago. We've moved past that. Have you? I remember Christmas 2021 pretty clearly. You sent my gift back. Opened. With a note that said return to sender. That was your father's idea. It was your idea, my father muttered. I watched them bicker. Watched my mother's hands tighten around her handbag. Watched my father's eyes dart around my office. The Herman Miller chair. The Rothko print. The skyline view. Calculating. Always calculating. Then I opened my bottom drawer. Not the one where I keep files. The one where I keep records. I pulled out a single sheet of paper. Folded. Worn at the edges. I have something for you too, I said, sliding it across the desk. My mother picked it up. Read it. Her face went pale. It was the document they'd made me sign in 2019. The one that officially removed me as a beneficiary of the family trust. The one that named my younger brother, Matthew, as the sole heir to all real estate and financial assets upon their deaths. My father recognized it. Where did you get that? You sent it to me. Certified mail. With a cover letter from your attorney explaining that I was being disinherited for conduct unbecoming of a family member. I smiled. I framed the letter. It's in my home office. Very motivating. My mother's voice dropped. That was different. You were marrying a man who was clearly after our money. He wasn't after your money, Mom. There was no money. You'd already leveraged everything. The lake house was underwater then, too. You just didn't tell anyone. Silence. My father looked at my mother. My mother looked at the paper in her hands. Then she said something I will never forget. Something so absurd, so desperate, so completely them that I almost laughed. We only signed that to protect Matthew. He needed stability. You were always so independent. We knew you'd land on your feet. I stood up, walked to my window. Let them sit in the quiet for a full 30 seconds. Mom. Dad. Hey Race, what's going to happen? I turned around. I'm not giving you $300,000. I'm not co-signing a loan. I'm not buying the lake house and letting you live in it rent-free. I'm not bailing you out so you can go back to pretending I don't exist. My mother opened her mouth. I held up one finger. But I am going to make you an offer. One offer. You have 24 hours to decide. I walked back to my desk. Pulled out another document. 72 pages. ID had my lawyer draft it 6 months ago. This is a purchase agreement. I will buy the lake house. Cash. Full market value is $210,000. But I'm feeling generous. I'll give you $250. My mother's eyes narrowed. And? And nothing. You walk away with cash. I walk away with the property. No strings. My father reached for the document. My mother slapped his hand away. We're not selling, Nora. It's the only thing we have left. Then you should have thought about that before you spent the last 15 years treating me like a backup plan. I sat back down, opened my laptop. You have 24 hours. My lawyer's number is on the last page. Don't call me. Call him. My mother stood up. Her hands were shaking. Her face was red. I'd seen that face before. The night I told her I was moving out at 18. The day I announced my engagement. The moment I opened my own firm and she realized I didn't need her. You're going to regret this, she whispered. No, I said, not looking up. I'm really not. They left. Chloe walked past my door with a mug of tea and a single nod. She knows not to ask questions. I waited until I heard the elevator close. Then I opened the folder on my laptop labeled Lake House Full Audit. 72 pages of mortgage statements, tax liens, HELOC applications, and a private lender agreement ID found 6 months ago. Coastal Capital Partners. The name meant nothing then. I set it aside. But I also had something new. A photograph ID found in my father's study last Thanksgiving. Hidden behind a painting. In an envelope with no return address. It was a picture of a house I had never seen before. In Florida. With a sold sign in the front yard. Dated 3 months ago. My parents hadn't come to me because they were about to lose the lake house. They came because they had already borrowed against it fraudulently and needed my cash to cover the trail. I picked up my phone. Dialed my forensic accountant. Marcus, I need you to pull everything on a property in Sarasota. 742 Palm Boulevard. A photo with a sold sign from 3 months ago. Can you find it? Give me 2 hours, he said. I hung up. Opened the 72-page agreement. My parents thought I was making them an offer. They had no idea I'd been tracking their fraudulent second mortgage for 6 months. They had no idea I'd already contacted Bay Bank about buying their first lien. And they definitely had no idea what was on. The funds came from a trust in Delaware. Your father is the sole trustee. The trust's assets came from a second mortgage on the lake house. Taken out 18 months ago. Through Coastal Capital Partners. I already know about Coastal. I found that agreement 6 months ago. But here's the problem. The lake house already had a first mortgage with Bay Bank. A second mortgage would have required Bay Bank's approval. They would never approve a second lien on an underwater property. Marcus paused. They didn't approve it. Because they didn't know about it. The second mortgage was recorded with a forged signature from Bay Bank's authorized officer. I stopped breathing. Are you telling me my parents committed mortgage fraud? Coastal Capital isn't a licensed lender in this state. The mortgage was recorded with a forged signature. Bay Bank's fraud department will call the entire first mortgage due the moment they find out. I already sent them the evidence from a burner email. I looked at the photograph again. The sold sign. The palm trees. A retirement bought with stolen money. What's the timeline? Bay Bank will send a notice of acceleration. Your parents will have 30 days to pay off the entire first mortgage. About $620,000. Or the bank will foreclose. And if they can't pay, the lake house goes to auction. Coastal Capital's second mortgage is unenforceable due to fraud. The only secured creditor is Bay Bank. I smiled. Unless someone else holds the primary lien. Marcus laughed. Unless someone else holds the primary lien. Which you do. You bought that debt from Bay Bank's distressed asset division 8 months ago. You paid 40 cents on the dollar. You're the first lien holder, Nora. You own the lake house's mortgage. They just don't know it yet. I hung up, poured myself a glass of water, stood by the window and watched the city lights come on. My parents had spent my entire life telling me I wasn't good enough. That I was too emotional, too ambitious, too difficult. That I'd never make it on my own. They disinherited me, called me dead to them, showed up at my office with a demand for money they'd already stolen through fraud. And now I held every card. 3 days later. Friday, 10 a.m. The family brunch was my mother's idea. She called me Thursday night, voice dripping with forced warmth, inviting me to talk things through like adults at the country club. I knew what she was doing. She wanted witnesses, board members, the tennis crowd. She wanted to play the victim one last time. I RSVP'd yes within 30 seconds. My offer expired at midnight Thursday. The brunch was Friday morning. She didn't know that. The country club's dining room was half full when I arrived. My mother had reserved the corner table, the one with the best light, the one everyone could see. My father sat with his back to the wall, already sweating through his polo shirt. My brother Matthew was there too. Had been conveniently unavailable for the last 4 years. Nora, my mother said, standing to air kiss both my cheeks. So glad you came. I didn't kiss back. I sat down, placed a single manila envelope on the table. What's that? My father asked. Patience. The waiter came. I ordered coffee. Black. My mother ordered a mimosa. My father ordered whiskey. At 10 a.m. Good sign. Let's talk about the lake house, my mother began. We've thought about your offer. We've decided to counter. I waited. We'll sell you the property for $400,000. And you'll pay for our move to Florida. And you'll cover the back taxes. No. My mother blinked. Excuse me? I'm not buying the lake house. I already own it. Silence. My father's whiskey glass stopped halfway to his mouth. That's not possible, my mother said. We hold the deed. You hold the deed subject to a first mortgage held by Bay Bank. I purchased that mortgage 8 months ago. Legally, I am the lien holder. You stopped making payments in January, the same month you wired money to the Florida house. That means you're in default. I can foreclose immediately. My father set down his glass. You're bluffing. I opened the manila envelope, pulled out the assignment of mortgage, the notarized transfer, the payment history showing 3 missed payments, the letter from Bay Bank confirming the sale. This is real. And it gets worse. I pulled out the Coastal Capital Partners mortgage, the forged signature page, the wire transfer to the trust, and the photograph of the Florida house with the sold sign. You took a fraudulent second mortgage 18 months ago, forged the first lien holder's signature, and bought a retirement home in Sarasota. You planned to use my $300,000 to hide the fraud. But I found the coastal agreement 6 months ago. I've been waiting for you to come to me. My mother's face was white. My father stared at the table. This morning, I sent Bay Bank the complete fraud package. They've issued a notice of acceleration. You have 30 days to pay $620,000. The Florida house will be seized. The trust will be dissolved. And I filed a criminal complaint with the state attorney's office. Forgery is a felony. Matthew finally spoke. His voice was quiet. Mom, what did you do? Nothing, my mother snapped. She's lying. She's always been dramatic. I pulled out the final document. Page 67 of the purchase agreement. The page they never read. There was one way out. Page 67 would have let me forgive the fraud and give you 5 years to pay it back. That offer expired at midnight last night. You spent the last 24 hours planning this ambush instead of signing. Now it's gone. My mother's hand was shaking. You wouldn't. We're your parents. No, I said, standing up. You stopped being my parents the day you signed that disinheritance letter. You stopped being my family when you told everyone I was dead to you. And you stopped being worthy of mercy when you committed a felony and tried to make me an accomplice. I looked at Matthew. Ask her about the emails she deleted. Ask her about the certified letter she sent back unopened. Ask her why she forged a signature. Matthew's face was pale. Mom? My mother didn't answer. She was staring at me with something I'd never seen before. Fear. You're destroying us, she whispered. You destroyed yourselves. I just made sure there were witnesses. I looked around the dining room. The tennis crowd had stopped pretending not to listen. A board member was openly staring. The waitstaff had frozen mid-pour. I picked up the manila envelope, walked toward the door, then stopped. One more thing. The lake house foreclosure auction is in 60 days. I'll be bidding. And I'll be donating it to a women's shelter. You'll read about it in the paper. I walked out, through the dining room, past the whispers, past my father's dropped whiskey glass, past my mother's frozen face. My phone buzzed. Marcus. Bay Bank just filed the acceleration notice. The AG's office wants to schedule an interview with your parents. They're considering charges. Good. Nora? Your mother is crying. Someone's filming it. I stood in the parking lot, looked up at the sky, felt the weight of 4 years of silence, for years of being erased, for years of pretending I didn't care. All of it lifting. Let them film, I said. Let everyone see. 6 months later, the lake house auction was competitive, but I won. I paid $340,000, gutted it, rebuilt it, turned it into transitional housing for women leaving financial abuse. Free legal clinic on the first floor. My parents filed for bankruptcy. The Florida house was seized and sold at a loss. The AG's office declined to press felony charges due to lack of intent to permanently deprive, but the civil fraud case is still active. My mother is trying to settle. I'm not settling. The country club banned them from all properties. The video of my mother's breakdown went viral on the club's private Facebook group. She hasn't shown her face in public since. Matthew called me last week. Had finally found the deleted emails. My mother had been intercepting his messages for years. He apologized. I told him I needed more time. And me? I sit on the porch of the lake house sometimes. My lake house now. Watch the sunset over the water. Think about the girl who cried herself to sleep after that Christmas dinner. The woman who built a company from nothing. The daughter who was told she was dead. She confused my silence for weakness.